y'all.
That's my line.
Oh, come on. Well, I am here with our local resident Texan here in Canberra, in the nation's capital of Australia, with Dr. Amy Erickson. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Service. I'm the director of St. Mark's National Theological Centre. I'm also a systematic theologian. And Amy.
I'm lecturer in theology and ethics and then our HDR coordinator.
Okay.
So speaking of ethics, what are we chatting about today?
Right.
Jackie?
So today we are talking AI. Now you can't escape it. Apparently you can't escape it. It's everywhere. So you've been talking quite a bit about it. No, no, I'm joking. So you've been running a reading group for our students.
Yes, right. Yeah, people. Yeah, I have developed a reputation.
Yeah.
Funnily, I just pulled out. I have a printout of all the readings, and I didn't quite realize what a stack of papers they were. I feel like I should know more than I do based on that size.
Yeah.
But yeah. So a lot of us at St. Mark's have been chatting about AI and what are some of the kind of implications theologically and for theological study.
Okay, and so why was this something that you wanted to do? Why do a reading group on AI?
Yeah.
And each week, what, an hour and a half, an hour?
Yeah.
Talking with students about different articles and
Yeah.
Why?
Well, truth be told, it actually was a topic I was wanting to avoid for a long time until start of this academic year. I was starting to get papers that seemed to be AI generated, and it felt like it was kind of desecrating the craft of scholarship that I've devoted my life to training for, and that I think is so valuable. And one of my students was noticing that I was getting a little feisty about it, and she suggested, "Hey, you've already got these."
Hold on, just one.
Okay, maybe multiple. One in particular said, "Hey, like you already do this reading group. Why don't you, instead of doing whatever book you were planning on doing, why don't you use that space to think and wrestle with this theologically?" So that was the
okay. All right.
Genesis of that. Yeah.
So what was it that triggered your concern about AI? So, actually, let's hold that question.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's actually just define our terms here.
Yes.
What are we talking about when we're talking AI?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I've listened to quite a few podcasts now, and I am no AI specialist at all, but I'm understanding there are kind of three types of AI, and I don't know where we're quite at the moment, but I think we're heading towards something. So there's narrow AI, which is like just a tool-like use of artificial intelligence, which is it does tasks in narrow fields, simulates human learning and comprehension, problem solving, creativity, those things. It analyzes data and can be used like a tool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of narrow AI. And then we've got general AI, which is it's performing tasks like a human.
Yeah.
And I think there's some discussion around whether it actually has human cognition and is able to generate its own code now and maybe go beyond the bounds of what it's been coded, because it can just say, well, hey, I don't like that code. I'm choosing to do something else. So it's forming its own maybe autonomy at this point.
Yeah, making decisions.
Yeah. And so and it is better than a human across various in different fields. It might outmatch human capability in some fields. But then there's all this talk about moving to super AI or super intelligence, which some predictions are saying we're going to get to super intelligence by 2029. Others are saying it's decades away, which is where the AI surpasses all humans in all fields. And they talk about that as the singularity.
Right.
Where we can't see beyond the event horizon of that.
Yeah.
And it will be out of our control.
Yeah.
So
but before
how do you view?
Well, if I could take a step back though, I mean the term artificial intelligence isn't an obvious term. It's not a given term. Forgetting the details, but I think it was coined in like the 1970s by some computer scientist at some sort of like computer science conference or something. And it stuck. But I mean, I think these AI companies have latched onto it because it sounds nice and clean. Artificial intelligence. There's a kind of purity to it. It sounds abstract. It sounds disembodied, and it's also incredibly imprecise. That's something we actually struggle with in the reading group, is because I mean, AI has been with us for years. Obviously, ChatGPT 2 years ago really kind of launched all the kind of current discussion around it. But I mean, arguably, algorithms in social media is AI, right? So we're already immersed in it. It's unhelpfully imprecise, and again, it's almost a really great marketing kind of technique, because it makes it sound like it's kind of disembodied or decoupled from the kind of material economic infrastructure in the world, and it's actually highly embedded. And there's one really famous book, Atlas of AI, by a woman named Katie Crawford, that she just goes into the material reality of it, and right now, at this very moment, like huge data centers are being constructed to train these things, to store the data that they require. They're so hungry for water, for energy. Legions of people have to get enlisted to just support the infrastructure for this stuff, and often under exploitative conditions. So it's all to say that the term artificial intelligence is not helpful.
Okay, because you're saying it disembeds it from the material reality,
right?
Of that, it is. It uses infrastructure. It's not out there. Like some spirit world. It's actually connected to the temporality.
Which isn't to say it doesn't have spiritual consequences.
I think we'll get but it doesn't have its existence outside the physical reality of our infrastructure, and then that demands a lot of energy, etc. Okay, so I find it interesting with the AI narrative that I was listening yesterday to an ad came up on YouTube, and it was Anthony. Is it Anthony Robbins? Is that his name? I can't remember. Anyway, he's one of these self-help guru guys from your fair country. So,
there's a lot of us. Too many, some would say.
And he's speaking this ad about, need to get on board on the AI train, because basically you need to learn to master it so that you can master your life and you can master your business, and if you don't, you're going to get left behind. And it just struck me that it's like, hold on a second, who is telling us that we need AI? Like, there's this whole narrative now that it's almost like this train we all can't get off. We have no autonomy now. It's like, oh, get on or just be left behind.
Right. It's a kind of fatalism.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was thinking, well, wait a minute. We've got to question this surely a little bit. When the people actually who's set to make the money, they're the ones telling us that we need this product, and they're going to make all the money from it. So there's this massive self-interest. And so how much of it is just a massive marketing thing where we've all been told, and governments are being told, everyone get on or you will be left behind.
Well, that left behind thing, I mean, first, I think we just there should be just this critical wisdom around, if that's the fuel behind this, which I think it is, like there's a kind of cascading levels to that, because I think there's that fear of being left behind on a geopolitical level. U.S. and China both are, and U.S. is trying to highly deregulate it because it wants to get out of China. So there's geopolitical not getting left behind. There's the corporate, these different AI companies know that it's as y'all say, first in, best dressed. It's going to be, it's a race to the end to see who's going to get the monopoly of the market. And then on an individual level, and we've seen this in our institutional context. There's this fear of, we don't want to get behind AI compared to other education institutions, and then individually too. I think with and I know individual workers feel pressure from their place of work of, you better be using this and not wasting time on emails. But if that's the energy behind it, is this fear of getting left behind as opposed to a more constructive desire to serve, that's just something to be.
See, because I just think that it's, well, I guess, again, from a theological perspective, from a Christian point of view, I'm looking at this and thinking, wait a sec, this is really worldly way of thinking, because it's all about scarcity, self-sufficiency, competition. That's what this is about. None of it is about it's not about love of neighbor. It's not about trusting God. It's not about what's the process of being finite human. Like it's got, to me, there's a massive problem with coming on board with it, because I just think, what, as a Christian, I am just acquiescing to a complete way of thinking, which is I need to produce. It's like this, it's very consumeristic, right? And I need to produce this outcome, right? So that I have got an issue with it, because everything now seems to be functionalized towards an outcome.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then you do get like the Sam Altmans of the world who say, and I think they're genuine. I think like they think this is going to like solve all the world's problems. It's going to solve world hunger. It's again, there's this kind of utopia that's sort of dangled in front of us. But the problem with that assumption is it assumes that most of the problems that plague humanity are technical problems that need technical solutions, and they're not.
Yeah.
The main problem, we know this theologically, the main problems with humans have to do with the human heart. That's what needs to be changed. And AI is not going to do that.
No. Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit, and there's a few different things. I don't know where you want to start, but I'm thinking about, do we want to start with AI and being human, this or not? Like, what do we, as humans, what do we lose by becoming reliant on AI? If we all just holus bolus, is that a word?
Is that
or something that I got from my mom?
ChatGPT makes it up.
But if we just like jump in, we all acquiesce, get on the train, what do we lose? Is it all a good story? Because I'm not buying that it's all a good story. What are we going to lose from being human? Does AI deform our very humanity?
Well, I will admit, I might push back on that, or like, because this is one thing that has annoyed me in my little tour of the current kind of, especially theological discourse and publications around AI, is that a lot of them do tend to like ask the human question, or like, or at what point is AI human, or like, can AI be saved, or at what point, is it conscious? And I just feel like those are actually kind of more smokescreen questions, and end up getting us talking about abstractions as opposed to like the actual on the ground. Like, well, a better question, I think, but which I don't think is unrelated, is like, does it help me love my neighbor? But then what I am worried about it is some of the like ways it is deforming, but deforming in in ways that prohibit or inhibit my love of others.
Okay. All right.
But I don't want to push back on that.
Okay, so
like,
you're thinking
maybe I'm not understanding your question.
No. So you're thinking that, okay, because a lot of this does come down to, well, it's forcing us to look at what is it to be human, effectively, because there's a lot of questions about, is it human? Is it human? Is it going to surpass humans? Does it have consciousness? And it's like we even know what that even means for ourselves, let alone some other entity that doesn't even share my same human nature. Like,
I mean, is something we've talked about. Obviously, it's trying to press beyond human finitude, which arguably any technology technology does. It's tools are somehow an extension of human labor that makes it more efficient. And but it does seem so like some sort of threshold has been crossed, especially when you've got these AI companies talking about uploading your brain to software and trying to it gets kind of more from that whole transhumanism debate or register. So and so far maybe as it's trying to transgress certain limits that seem biblically to be placed upon humans, it does seem to be toying with humanity in a biblically theologically what seems to be an unhealthy direction.
I think if we look at the transhuman element to it with Neuralink, and you've got what's his name, Ray Kurzweil, who is a transhumanist and is a computer scientist, and he talks about using it basically that AI will mean that aging in the future becomes a manageable health condition, and that we can achieve basically through the acceleration of medical technology, we will be able to essentially have eternal life, live forever. So I'm not, again, as a theologian, I've got questions about even that kind of concept about avoiding that we're now trying to avoid death. Now, whether that's even possible, but he certainly he talks about what he calls longevity escape velocity. Yes. Wow. This is why we don't have nerds ruling the world, because they give us terms like that. Longevity escape velocity, which means basically every year you live, technology will sped up so much that it will add another year to your life. Okay. Right? So you just need to keep outliving live long enough for the next technological advance. So there's this whole kind of thing about that AI is going to give us eternal life. Now, I was teaching Christology about Jesus Christ and who he is and what he's done this semester. One of the topics we talk about is resurrection. And so immediately I'm thinking about, this is just, again, yet another way that humans want to have salvation apart from God. Yeah. There's nothing new under the sun, and here we go again. Yeah, right. We're just going to create our own salvation. This time we're going to escape death. Except I was thinking that resurrection, so Jesus Christ gives us resurrection. Right. Resurrection from the dead. Whereas AI can't give us resurrection from the dead. Right. All it can actually do is give us, it just extends the kind of existence the deathly existence the mortal, we have now. Yeah. The mortal extending, that we have. A mortal life as opposed to. It might be able to reanimate you or resuscitate you, but it cannot give you resurrection. In other words, it cannot give you immortality, which is broken free from the corruption of sin. It can't do that. Right. So you might live, and this is the exact thing, I think, that the reason why when Adam and Eve leave, the garden after they've sinned, and God places an angel, right, to say we can't go back and eat the tree of life, right? Yeah. Because it's grace. Because you do not want to be living forever in a state of moral decay and of sin. Yeah. So I think like a self-imposed purgatory. Well, yeah, right. Is it? And there is actually a scripture which I've remembered about. It's in the book of Revelation, and it says, during those days, now I'm not saying what those days are, and I'm not a specialist in Revelation. Well, next to us. But it's always something I've thought about. It's during those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. Oh, interesting. They will long to die, but death will elude them. Wow. And I'm just like, are we entering that? So this false promise, right? It's a counterfeit. Yeah. Everything, there's always a counterfeit what God does, and then there's this counterfeit movement. And I just can't help but think, is AI and the way it's being presented as this savior, it's saving us from death, it's saving us from sickness and difficulty and all these things. Apparently it's meant to be saving us from. Whoever said that those are the things we need to be saved from anyway. But this is an area. It's like, is it promising something that actually is hell on earth? Yeah. Not being released from the grip of death and the grip of sin and the grip of corruption, because that's why Jesus came, is to remove us from the old Adam, like Paul talks about, that we have our natural decaying sinful life subject to death through the old Adam, and Christ is a new Adam, like a new bloodline, that you move to this new bloodline that gives resurrected life. And now AI is going to say, oh, you don't need that. We'll give it to you. Any thoughts on I guess where I'm hovering in that kind of area around immortality, the promise of longevity of life or of better healthcare, and are we again running after certain things that are set up for us? This is what we should all be after.
Well, I wonder if I could follow up on that by turning to another topic, not unrelated, but that maybe might answer. I feel like people might be having a question of like, hold on a second, like I'm just like asking ChatGPT to like brainstorm my dinner menu for me like this week. Like what? Like what are we talking about? Like, you know, resurrection versus like a extended mortality. And so if I could, with that potential question in mind of what you said, actually add on another theological topic that I know was floated in some of the advertisement we used for this, which was I think something like along the lines, is it demonic? Which is not a question or that to be used or asked lightly at all. And we don't mean that trivially, but there is a well kind of trod strand in Christian theological discourse that says that human infrastructures and institutions can develop their own kind of force and animus and take on almost their own life in ways that humans can't control and that are ultimately destructive. And I think the word demonic is actually appropriate to use. So there's a number of figures, a guy named Jacqueline, Walter Wink, Willie Jennings, who we've gotten to meet, maybe doesn't use that exact language, but he kind of makes a diagnosis of theological education actually in the US, that it has a kind of spirit, a kind of colonial spirit in it. And so I guess my point is that like the problem, and this is why I just haven't been able to reach for and explicitly reach for, AI tools, is that there's this whole infrastructure that they're all kind of packaged into, that puts a lot of power into these companies, such that unfortunately, mine just innocently asking ChatGPT a question feeds and is fueling this entire machinery and infrastructure that, at least theologically, its logic is kind of questionable.
So I've gone to where I think some of the conversation around AI is going to around Neuralink and
of where these companies want to take this stuff,
and living forever and all these kind of things. But we're not there yet. Your point is that the thing is, the stepping stones to maybe some of these big existential issues are me saying, hey, ChatGPT, can you just give me a travel itinerary for when I go to Italy? And so it seems like it's a nothing. What does it really matter? But it's feeding something bigger.
Right.
Now, it's feeding, and I agree with you. I think those little things we're doing, we're giving away. What are we seeding away in the small little gains we make? Are we seeding to elites who have colonialistic, because I've heard you talk about this, that this is just another form of the elite ruling and colonizing. Now, how do you see it as a colonizing move?
Right. So colonialism, it basically takes, it steals kind of intellectual property of other people, uses it without either acknowledgement or compensation. At the same time, it uses ridiculous amounts of resources to a point that's exploitative, and for the sake of consolidating power and wealth into the hands of the few. It ends up further marginalizing people. And I'll always, and I'm not the only one that's used this language, not original to me, but a lot of people have seen this as, if not a new colonialism, just colonialism extended.
It's just another situation where wealthy nations use their power and wealth to impose a system on the world, which enhances the disparity between rich and poor, between those who have access to living forever and those who don't. Now, I know there's an argument, no, everyone's going to get better and wealthier and we're going to have like universal income and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm pretty sure humans have never quite got there with that kind of equity, unless it's, some equitable system through, again, an authoritarian power like communism. I don't see how does that act? Like, humans have never had that capability. Because, like, again, it's back to the human heart question.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So on the human heart question, can a tool like this, like AI, is it sinful on its own, or distorted on its own, or only when the human who has a I guess a heart that is divided and not oriented to the good of God, is it only when humans without love use it that then it becomes a tool that is dangerous?
Yeah. Wow. I'd want to be careful using the sin word of it. And again, I've had some of my colleagues have pressed me on like being consistent, because like the truth is like we're all caught up in exploitative, unjust structures and participants in them, right? Like even our food system, or like it's hard to live in the world and not drive a car, like in the Western world stuff, there's stuff we're implicated in all the time. So what's hard is like we can't always remove and purify ourselves. But I guess at least I guess personally, I guess what I've arrived at is like AI is it's still so new. It hasn't been kind of baked in yet. As far as I can resist it, at least I've just personally felt like I don't think right now my using it, again, explicitly reaching for it, enables me to love people well. But I wouldn't want to like superimpose that on others who might be in very different situations than me. I don't know if that does that answer your question. How would you answer that? Like,
it's a hard one. I don't know. I do think it's something around this kind of idea of being limitless. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who's he was a German theologian during World War II, who was murdered by the Nazi regime. He talks about in some of his works that sin begins, he says, not with transgressing a rule, but with rejecting creatureliness. So it's our refusal to accept dependence on God, and sin will grasp for limitless knowledge, power, and self-determination. So I think there's something around, I think what AI is kind of like it's the creature creating its own image.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if you want to look at something about, so it's got to have something, it'll be embedded in it, a dysfunction in it, because we are not without sin. We are, we miss the mark because we don't orientate to God properly. So I think that there's this kind of, it's got that all through it, this limitless knowledge. But except for me, it's about, well, what's knowledge for? To produce a product? No. Knowledge is so that we will have communion and union with God. That's what knowledge is for. But now knowledge is being used to be this limitless thing. And I think it's actually going back to the demonic kind of thing you were talking about, that the Apostle Paul talks about that strongholds in the mind particularly, but strongholds can be established in our lives. And he says they set themselves up against the knowledge of God.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I wonder whether, again, something here about this reach for limitless knowledge, but it's knowledge without wisdom.
Yes, right.
It's knowledge that avoids God.
Yeah, or doesn't want the cost of wisdom. Like it just wants the easy kind of answer.
Yeah, just wants a product without the pilgrimage.
Right. Yes.
Like, you know,
right.
Yeah. So I think also it's like about, I don't know. I think there's things in there about knowledge and wisdom. What are we using this for? But however, talking about sin, and you're probably going to think I'm a big sinner, but I did use AI.
Oh, bless. Oh, dear. I wonder if we want to pivot actually to Q&As soon. But
oh, yes. Well, hold on.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
We're
going to have your questions ready. We're going to get to those here. Here's what
I
asked.
What did you do, Jackie?
I asked ChatGPT to give me a question for you.
For me?
Yes.
What?
I explained what we were doing, and I explained your position
to
AI, to ChatGPT.
You told it, Jackie. Now it's going to be after me.
Yeah. Believe me, when it takes over, you're like on the hit list. Okay, so I asked AI, and this is what it came up with. It said to ask you, if God has given humans creativity to make something like me, where do you think God is in my existence?
Sounds like a riddle. But
if God has given humans creativity to make something like me, where do you think God is in my existence?
Well, I mean, all of human history is a story of rebellion against God. So I guess I would locate it in part of the story of rebellion against God. So yeah, God's involved, but not in the right orientation of the human heart.
Could it be oriented? Are there ways that it could be used? So we'll get to questions in a sec, but let's just ask this before we go. What is there a responsible way that Christians can engage with AI? Do you see any kind of use of it? Can AI be used for God's glory, for the gospel?
And look, I hope I'm not heard as like making blanket like universal prescriptions for all time, like, but just like my own personal conviction at this point in time, and it could very well change. I mean, it's just been like personally, I don't feel like I can, in good conscience, like again, explicitly reach for it. I know we're awash in it. I've used it. And I mean, Paul has this whole thing about meat sacrifice to idols, where he's talking to Christians, where something like, hey, it's just meat. Like, maybe it was sacrifice an idol, but like I can eat it. It's fine. Like those idols don't exist. Whereas other, Christians at the time, like their consciences were kind of, pricked by that. And Paul says, look, like, follow your conscience. I don't not think that Christians can, in good conscience, use it or reach for it. But just personally, I haven't reached that point.
Yeah, I have been convicted more from our conversations about whether I should use it. Not enough. I had to. Come on, But I've also wondered. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. What do we lose when we use it? I think we lose the struggle in life. Like we grow and develop. A lot of my development and growth as a human has come through struggle, not by easy street.
Yeah.
So I think it's tempting us to, if it is something we're always reaching to remove difficulty or struggle from our lives, I'd question that as a Christian. Because there is God uses difficulty, he uses conflict, tension, friction at times. So I'd question that. I'd also question whether we're losing creativity and that by using it, this God-given creativity to explore our world, like what I'm going to lose the ability to think properly and be transformed by the process of thinking myself, rather than outsourcing that to AI. I think we're going to lose some kind of formation that happens in the doing, not the outsourcing.
Yeah.
All right, but I think we'll end it there, and I've got some questions. But look, we talk about these kind of things at St. Mark's all the time in the corridors and in our classrooms. And if you're interested in joining us, not just for a reading group, say like on this with Amy, but studying, we're encouraging you. Please reach out to us. We want to prepare you wherever you work and live for a life of service. And so it means wrestling with these kind of questions. You can see on the screen here, we've got a number of different kind of arms of study that you can do, everything from a graduate certificate in theology right through to a PhD. So do reach out. Did you want to?
Oh, sure. We've got our open night if you want to learn more about, again, our different courses that just kind of flashed on the screen there. And actually, a week from pretty much this very moment. It'll be online. Scan that QR code and you can register.
And who is that amazing woman on that picture there?
That's an Ash Wednesday cross, by the way. Like,
yeah,
the Ash Wednesday one that was taken. So surgically, appropriate. Yeah, but we'll again give just more information about our courses and ways you can plug in, and kind of more about like what it's like to be part of the St. Mark's community, whether you're local in Canberra or actually or remote at a distance as well.
Yeah, so do join us. That is online. You can register. Okay, so some questions. All right.
About 10 minutes or so for questions.
Okay, so what kind of harm do you think churches aren't prepared for?
What kind of harm? Yes. Well, I think there's some really curly pastoral situations, which maybe some pastors, already are facing, but around AI use, especially around, I think a lot of us have probably seen in the news, people like falling in love with chat boxes, forming relationships, kind of other side of that, grieving the death of a loved one, and kind of training a chatbot to kind of replace their personality and kind of as a conversation partner. So I think there's a lot of kind of real pastoral questions that if pastors aren't already dealing with them are going to be coming around the corner pretty soon. I'm not going to try to pastorally address those right now, but
no, I'd agree with
that. Yeah.
And I think if churches are not thinking about issues about how do we form people, not how do we produce outcome, like a product, like, then I think, churches are going to have a big issue. Like, this is discipleship, right? Discipleship is about being in community and being formed. And often formed through struggle and the face of annoying other people who are around you, and you can't shut off from that. So I think churches need to start preparing for and thinking deeply about these issues.
To embed decolonizing methodology into the specific spaces within the broad AI landscape, is there a case to be made for as
amoral
amoral rather than immoral? And this is where this is the problem almost. Well, both the problem joy studying theology is theology naturally intersects any other kind of discipline or discourse. And I've been trying to get up to speed on AI, but I'm still not an expert to even know how it works such that it could be decolonized. But right now, just again from a very generalist perspective, it just seems so baked into these corporations and this logic of trying to attract investors who will give them enough money so that they can invest in the energy that it takes to train these things. I just don't know how you get away from the training and how hungry these models are to be trained, and then how that in itself requires a certain just level of infrastructure that requires a kind of colonial power. I don't know how you do that. I'd be interested.
I think also, but then the moment you start embedding, it's doing this anyway because they're giving it the criteria by which it's thinking and doing it.
Right, that power of.
But then if you embed even a decolonizing methodology, which one and does that then become a colonizing methodology?
Right.
Because it's being used by this power. So whether you can escape it, I'm not sure.
Right.
But I think that more than this is if we achieve super intelligence, we won't even know what methodologies.
That's just it, right?
Are even there. We won't be able to control it.
There's no
and
oversight.
You might put embedded decolonizing methodology in now, and in 2035, this thing thinks, well, actually, that's ridiculous because that's not going to achieve certain agendas. So I'm going to pretend that I'm doing it, but not tell anyone that actually I'm not. So
one other thing about the colonialism bit, it's just the language. So much of this is in English, and again, it has to be in a single language for there to be enough data for it to work with to get trained. And so you're just further entrenching English language as a colonial power as well.
Oh, but what about what's the Chinese one? I haven't even thought about language.
That's why. So US and China are the big kind of
it's a really good question, Adam. Thank you. What have we got? Our ethical ministry training has recently incorporated responsibility in how we engage with social media. And I wonder whether soon we will need regular discussion refreshers on the ethical use of or interaction with AI in the context of ministry work and pastoral work. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yeah. Again, this is something that, just to go quickly back onto that. Oh, and we'll keep. Yeah, I think this is something that we're going to have to, and we're thinking about it here already at St. Mark's, is how do we, again, train and form, and we're even, people who are studying with us. This is a live question, because studying theology and training people in theology or pastoral work or professional supervision, this is coming to the forefront. AI, and we're being forced to ask the question, what are we doing this for?
Yeah, right. Why do we have students write a paper when they can churn one out in 2 seconds on ChatGPT?
So in a way, AI is forcing a really helpful question, which could, if we use it correctly, the conversations that are being brought up, it could actually highlight for us.
Why do we preach sermons? Why do we write a sermon when you could have
what's happening in pastoral work? There's something about the one-on-one engagement here without AI, and is that communion between people necessary for healing and growth as a human? And it's just something that a computer program can never give you. Let's go to this. Oh, there was one other question there. It was from Kai. I think we had time for it. Yep. How is that question from AI? Yep. Okay. Any different from the shadow of a human asking, God, if you created me that I could sin, why then should I not?
It's very Augustinian. I think it's a good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm with you, Kai. Like, God being involved doesn't mean that the human side is innocent, right?
Yeah.
Like, God is involved in the crucifixion. Like, we are not innocent. We are not innocent in that moment.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I think it's kind of parallel with that question. Yeah.
It's a good question. You seem to have been well
Kai,
trained,
you've been studying theology, haven't you?
Thanks, Kai. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We hope you can join us again. If you do have other questions, or potentially if you would like to get some of the readings, a couple of suggestions.
Oh, sure. I can.
Maybe.
Go to our website, stmarks.edu.au.
Yep.
Go to our faculty page, look at my name, Amy Erickson. My email will be on there. And shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And she can maybe send a couple of articles that the group were reading.
Just don't send me an AI generated email, please.
No, don't. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll catch y'all again.
Have a good night, y'all.
Good night.